off. These are my dogs, my biggest fans, Olive and Fog. And I put them in here because if you're a pet owner and you get a chance to speak in front of people and you don't include your pets in the presentation, it is socially irresponsible. And they know, okay? They know. When you come home, they're like, you didn't mention me. This is rude. But I show these guys because these two look darling in this picture. Just so you know, they get in all kinds of trouble. But I don't show them eating. The other day, they got into some money and ate $100, cash. Fog the other day knocked a whole box of crumble cookies off the counter, and the two of them devoured 4 cookies together. Like, they're having a heyday, okay? But I show the best pictures to where people are like, where did you get your dog? I want a dog just like that. He seems so sweet. This is what Instagram and Facebook do. They show us the highlight reels. And your business specifically, what a great place to shine light and show your accolades, right? Because people want to win. But how many times are you comparing yourself to someone else and you start thinking about someone who's in another company, you're like, wow, they're really winning. What are they doing? Am I in the right spot? Should I be doing this? Maybe I should think about something else. It's a highlight reel. Okay, they didn't show the losses, the customers they lost, the person who left their team, all that. This is a highlight reel. Stop comparing yourself to someone's highlight reel. Where you are right now is where you're meant to be. How are you showing up every day to be the best version of you? You didn't come to be them. You didn't come to be more like Jane or Susie or Bill or whoever on social media. You came to be you. And here's the thing, whether you're comparing yourself to them and you're like, I'm so much better, or whether you're comparing yourself to them and being like, I'm not enough, it doesn't matter because you're benchmarking yourself on someone who has fundamentally nothing to do with who God created you to be. You didn't come to be more like them. But here's a secret. Here's how we can move from that back part of our brain to the front part of our brain. Replace comparison with admiration. I see this in direct sales companies all the time. Sometimes you come to an event like this, and one of two things can happen. You can either leave becoming extremely inspired because you're admiring people, and you're like, oh my gosh, if they could do it, I could do it. I heard these stories. They were amazing. They were awesome. Or you're comparing yourself to someone, and you're feeling small because you're like, I could never do that. You're living in the back part of the brain versus the front part. You see someone here who's kicked butt in their business, go congratulate them, admire them, and find out what they're doing. That's how we win. We don't compare our start to someone's middle, our start to someone's end. It's about being who you came to be, owning your authenticity. Katy Perry said this. She said, if you're presenting with confidence, you can pull off pretty much anything. And isn't that the truth? When someone asks you about your business, what do you say? They're like, what do you do? You're like, oh, well, I'm a teacher, and then I have a little side business. I just have this side hustle that I do. And they're like, what is it? And you're like, oh, it's called Singular. Just don't. Because you're not confident. Because you're worried, what are they going to think of me? Is this stupid? Is this dumb? No, it's not. I always say, I don't care whether you're working at NASA or selling trim sticks. Like, what you do matters. It's your passions, it's your purpose. And when you're presenting with confidence in that, people are curious. What do you do? Have you heard of Singular? No, I haven't. Oh my gosh. I am obsessed. I have never loved what I'm doing more than I do right now. People are like, tell me. What is it? I want to know, right? It's that confidence. It's magnetic. Think about the last time you were with a confident person, not an arrogant person, a confident person. I guarantee you they made you feel like you could lift a car, like you could just achieve anything. They had that it factor, and you left with this heightened sense of self-love, of who you are. And here's the thing, nobody cares about your success more than you. No one's getting up, putting in the calls, inviting people to do the business. No one cares about your success more than you. I know that's a hard pill to swallow. It's been one of the hardest pills that I've ever had to swallow. If I want something, I gotta go get it. You've got to own it. How do you do it? How do you own it? How do you say, okay, if nobody cares more about my success, how am I gonna move the needle from A to B? How am I gonna continue to level up in this organization? You're gonna have to start using what I call a clear mirror to self-assess, especially in this business. Yes, you have mentors. Yes, you have uplines. Yes, you have an amazing corporate office who cares deeply about you, but they're not with you every day. They don't get to do a sales review and be like, here's everything you're doing really great, and here's where you need to improve, because they just don't know. So it's up to you. How do you do it? So I use this, it's called a clear mirror to self-assess, because what's happened when we're looking in a mirror? We're focused on ourselves. We don't really care about anything else. In fact, I don't even know what the wallpaper or tile was in my bathroom from this hotel. Because every time I was standing in front of the mirror, I was thinking about myself, right? That's what we do. And here's the thing, it's really the only thing you can control. How do you show up in any given situation, good or bad? How are you showing up? So it's this idea, this clear mirror to self-assess. So when my kids were like, my boys were like, I don't know, 10, 8, 10, they started playing a lot of sports. I mean, sure, they started way earlier than that. And we've tried every sport out there. Like, my kids have done everything from fencing to swimming to tennis to baseball and basketball. And I started to see this phenomenon happen on the ball field specifically. The kids would all go play, and then they would run out afterwards, and they'd say, "How did I do?" And what do we say? "You were great. You were awesome." Even if they were like the worst kid on the team. And you knew in your heart of hearts, this is not their sport. You were awesome. And I thought to myself, gosh, we are fundamentally messing these kids up. Because if someone tells you you're awesome at something and you're not, you know, and kids aren't stupid. And then it creates distrust. It also creates like, okay, who am I? People keep saying I'm good at this. I don't even like it. So I was like, how do I change this for my kids? How can I teach them how to self-assess so they can realize what they're good at, where they need to work, what brings them fulfillment, not what brings me fulfillment, what brings them fulfillment. So I flipped the script on my son, Ben. He came out after a baseball game and he said, "How did I do?" And I just looked at him, I said, "How do you think you did?" And he goes, "I was awesome." Now, I told him he was awesome for a long time. I was following suit with the other parents. But then I was like, and I celebrated that. First off, I'd always celebrate that. You know what? You were awesome. When you caught that pop fly at the bottom of the second, how did that feel? And he was like, "Oh my God." When I looked up and the ball was in my glove, I was like, "Oh, it was so fun." I was like, "Oh my gosh. Okay, let's go to the 5th inning." I turned that clear mirror back on him. Let's go to the 5th inning when you were in the batter's box. What happened? Because I knew he'd struck out. Now, first off, he tried to blame almost every time. He's like, "That pitcher was terrible, wasn't he?" And I'd be like, "Well, you can't control the pitcher. Like, this is baseball. I'm like, they might hit you with the ball. They might throw you a curveball. You don't know. Like, that's why you have to be ready." He said, "Yeah, I couldn't figure out what they were going to throw. I got nervous." And then he tried to blame again. "The umpires were terrible." I even heard Mrs. Jones say that multiple times. I'd be like, "You know what? It's baseball. They call every play. They're going to get some plays wrong." And I just kept turning that clear mirror back on him at a very young age. And here's what happened that summer. Ben started to get really good at baseball. Do you know why? Because he started thinking about what he was doing well, where he needed to work. He started asking for a pitching lesson, getting his dad or his brother to go out and throw some pop flies that he could catch. He started working on his base running, all this, and he became a great baseball player because it was up to him. And here's the thing, Ben is almost 17 now. And this self-assessment has transcended into his life as a teenager. He never asks me, "How did I do?" Do you know why? He knows exactly how he did. He uses this in his academics, in his grades, in his friendships. He takes accountability when he makes mistakes. You know, my grandmother who wrote the note, she also said, it's only a mistake if it happens twice. The first time was just a lesson that you needed to learn. And that's the self-assessment, right? Like, what do I need to learn from this? You got to celebrate your strengths. What are you doing really good? What do you want to toot your own horn about? Toot away. We do not celebrate our strengths enough. We have so many authentic gifts and talents. What do you love about yourself? What are the opportunities for improvement? Where can you make those improvements? Where can you learn from your mistakes, your quote-unquote mistakes? What if you never had to worry about making another mistake again because it was just a lesson that you needed to learn to become the best version of you? And here's the thing, I know for a fact in this business more than any, you guys, the self-sabotaging beliefs are what hold people back from greatness. You will talk yourself out of everything great in this life if you're not owning your authenticity, your excitement about this organization, and who you came to be here. I got another story for you. Is Tayana in the room? Where are you? Bright lights up here. Stand up if you're here. Oh, there you are. Hi, beautiful. When they shared your story with me, I was like, I love this story of owning it. See, Tayana started with the company back in 2020. She was a waitress. She had a couple kids. She was looking for extra income during the pandemic. She started this job. She had some early success, but she admitted that she was holding herself back. She had social anxiety. She had a couple failed businesses in the past, and she thought, maybe this isn't for me. She started talking herself out of all the greatness. And then she decided to own it. She decided to own who she was, what she was good at, where she needed to work. And she said, I found that being uncomfortable is where I grow. So she started seeking out opportunities to be uncomfortable. Whether it was attending an event that maybe she didn't even feel like going to or meeting new people, she started owning her business, who she was. She self-assessed and she went all in. And it's all up from here. It's all gas. Congratulations. And this story of Tayana is one that so many of us have, right? We talk ourselves out of great because we're afraid to actually move forward and start living it. Yes, we're focusing on being fulfilled. Yes, we're going to own who we are, but how do we lean into that fear? How do we get uncomfortable? How do we get comfortable being uncomfortable? You got to start living it every day. What are you doing that's getting you out of that comfort zone? That's holding you in the box that you will never be able to be who you came to be, to level up. It's the fear, right? The fear, oh my God, what if I fail? What if people don't like me? What if this is stupid? What if someone writes something mean on my Facebook page? Who cares? Here's the thing, fear, anxiety, imposter syndrome, all those things, they're actually the first sign that you're on the right track. Do you get fearful about something you don't care about? No. You don't get fearful of something that doesn't matter to you. It actually shows us what matters most, where we should be going. The next time you feel fear, you feel anxious, you're like, I really want to go for this promotion, or I really want to do this, but God, I'm not going to tell anyone because what if I fail? Go tell someone. Tell them you're scared as hell, that you're wanting to do this and that you want to go all in. That's a sign that you're on the right track. And I call this invitational fear and butterfly goals. Invitational fear because you've invited it in. This isn't physical fear, although it's going to show up in your body the same way. Just as physical fear produces the negative thoughts of, holy crap, I need to run, I need to get out of the dark alley, I need to get away from the bear, whatever it is that you're scared of, the invitational fear does the same thing in your body. But you can move it to the front of your brain and being like, invitational fear, hello. It's who I came to be. And the butterfly goals, right? Right now, maybe you're a big, fat, hairy caterpillar. And you're like, I really want to be the butterfly. Maybe that's where you're at in your business right now. You're here and you see all the butterflies. And you're like, how do I get to be more like Kala, the butterfly? Because now I feel like I'm here. Well, at one point in time, Kala was a caterpillar too, okay? The caterpillar is beautiful, or the butterfly is beautiful because the caterpillar is bold and brave. That's how we be who we came to be. What are those butterfly goals that you have that you've never told anyone because you're too scared? How many times have you thought, oh, I really want to earn that incentive trip, but I'm not going to tell anyone because if I don't do it, then I don't have to make an excuse for it and I'm, whatever. Go tell someone. Get a partner. Get a pacing partner. Get someone to do it with you. Go move into that fear together.